The story begins with an old woman who lived alone in a small cabin nestled in the forest land. She was a kind and gentle woman who spent her days incinerating gingerbread eyefuls. She loved to sing, it brought her joy, and it was her way of participating in her love with the world. Her gingerbread eyefuls were notorious in the ville for their succulent taste and their unique shapes. The old woman had a big heart, and she was always ready to help those in need. She'd frequently singe redundant eyefuls and take them to the ville to partake with the less fortunate. She'd also invite the children from the villa to her cabin, and she'd educate them on how to sing gingerbread eyefuls. The old woman had a special gift. She could bring her gingerbread eyefuls to life with a sprinkle of magic. She'd frequently make gingerbread men, and she'd give them personalities, voices, and feelings. She'd also shoot them on adventures to explore the world and spread kindness. The old woman had a strong belief that the world demanded further kindness and that small acts of kindness can make a big difference in people's lives. She believed that her gingerbread men could help spread kindness and make the world a better place. The story begins with an old woman who lived alone in a small cabin, known for her kindness and her love of incinerating gingerbread eyefuls. Her gingerbread eyefuls weren't only succulent but also magical, and they had the power to spread kindness and make the world a better place. One day, the old woman decided to singe a gingerbread man, just like she had done numerous times ahead. She took out her form book and began to gather the constituents. She measured out the flour, sugar, and spices, and she mixed them in a big coliseum. She also shaped the dough into the form of a gingerbread man and placed it on the roaster. But this time, rather than making him just a regular gingerbread cookie, she decided to use her magic to bring him to life. As the gingerbread man was incinerating, she sprinkled some magic dust over him and rumored many words of magic. When the gingerbread man was done baking, he stepped out of the roaster, and to the old woman's surprise, he was alive. He had a face, arms, and legs, and he was suitable to move and talk. The old woman was pleased. She had no way been suitable to bring a gingerbread man to life ahead. The gingerbread man was full of energy and curiosity. He wanted to explore the world and meet new people. He thanked the old woman for bringing him to life and asked her what his purpose was. The old woman smiled and reminded him to be kind to everyone he meets. She also advised him that not everyone would be kind to him, but to always respond with kindness. The gingerbread man was agitated to begin his trip and to spread kindness to the world. The old woman hugged him and transferred him on his way, with a warm heart and the stopgap that her gingerbread man would make a positive impact on the world. The gingerbread man, full of energy and curiosity, set out on his trip to explore the world and meet new people. He was agitated to see what the world had in store for him and to make new musketeers. He traveled through fields and timbers, over hills and deans, and he came through numerous different people. He met growers working in their fields, he met trippers on their way to new destinations, and indeed met wild creatures in the timber. He saluted everyone he met with a smile and a friendly hello. He was eager to learn about their lives and their stories, and to make a connection with them. As he traveled, he was amazed by the beauty of the world, the different colors of the flowers, the shapes of the trees, and the sound of the catcalls singing. He was full of wonder and curiosity, and he wanted to witness it all. He was also full of energy. He ran and jumped, and he sang and danced as he traveled. He was a joyous gingerbread man who brought a sense of wonder and excitement to everyone he met. The Gingerbread Man's trip wasn't always easy. He faced challenges and obstacles, but he always had a positive station and a smile on his face. He was determined to make the utmost of his trip, to learn as important as he could, and to meet as numerous people as he could. He was determined to spread kindness and make a positive impact on the world. The old woman watched as the gingerbread man set off on his trip, with a sense of pride and a touch of sadness. She had grown attached to the gingerbread man, and she was going to miss him. But she knew that he'd a charge to fulfill, and she was confident that he'd make a positive impact on the world. As the gingerbread man was leaving, the old woman called out to him, reminding him of his purpose and the significance of being kind to everyone he meets. She reminded him that the world was full of good and bad people and that it was important to respond to both with kindness. The gingerbread man heeded her words precisely, and he promised to always be kind and to spread kindness wherever he went. He thanked the old woman for creating him and for allowing him to make a difference in the world. The old woman smiled, knowing that her gingerbread man was going to make a difference in the world. She felt a sense of satisfaction, knowing that her gingerbread man would bring stopgap, joy, and kindness to the people he met. She knew that her gingerbread man would be a shining illustration of how one small act of kindness can change the world. The gingerbread man's trip was a memorial that small acts of kindness can have a big impact on the world and that one person can make a difference in the lives of numerous. It was also a memorial that when we choose to be kind, we're spreading positivity and making the world a better place. As the gingerbread man traveled through the world, he encountered numerous different people. Some were kind and friendly, and they ate him with open arms. They were curious about him and they were eager to hear his stories. They offered him food, sanctum, and fellowship, and they were happy to be of backing. Others were cruel and mean. They weren't interested in the gingerbread man, and they weren't willing to help. They would mock him, tease him, and indeed try to harm him. They were envious of his capability to spread kindness, and they wanted to stop him. The gingerbread man was burdened by the cruel and mean people he encountered. He'd hoped that everyone he met would be kind and friendly, but he soon realized that the world wasn't always that way. He learned that being kind wasn't always easy, and that occasionally it needed a lot of tolerance and adaptability. He also learned that the atrocity and hatefulness of others weren't a reflection of him, it was a reflection of their struggles and precariousness. He chose to respond to the atrocity and hatefulness with kindness and compassion, knowing that it was the stylish way to change the world. The gingerbread man's trip was a memorial that the world is full of different people with different personalities, and it's important to treat everyone with kindness and respect, indeed when they aren't kind to us. It also highlights that kindness is contagious and that it can change the behavior of others. The gingerbread man's trip wasn't always easy. He faced numerous challenges and obstacles along the way, but he no way lost sight of his purpose, to spread kindness and make a positive impact on the world. He learned that being kind isn't always easy and that it frequently requires courage, tolerance, and adaptability. He encountered numerous people who were cruel and mean, and it was delicate for him to respond to them with kindness. He had to remind himself that their jest wasn't a reflection of him, but a reflection of their struggles and precariousness. He also had to remind himself that responding to atrocity with kindness was the stylish way to change the world. He also learned that occasionally, spreading kindness requires immolation, and he'd to put himself in uncomfortable situations to help others. He'd put himself in peril to cover the innocent, and he'd give up his comfort to help those in need. Despite the challenges, the gingerbread man no way wavered in his commitment to kindness. He knew that it was the right thing to do and that it was the stylish way to make a difference in the world. He learned that kindness isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. The gingerbread man's trip was a memorial that being kind isn't always easy, but it's always the right thing to do. It teaches us that no matter how delicate it may feel, kindness is always worth the trouble and that it can make a positive impact on the world. As the gingerbread man continued on his trip, he came across a sly and cunning fox. The fox was known for tricking and deceiving other creatures, and he'd set his sights on the gingerbread man. The fox saw the gingerbread man as a succulent treat, and he was determined to eat him. The fox approached the gingerbread man with a friendly smile, pretending to be his friend. He congratulated the gingerbread man on his trip and his charge to spread kindness, and he offered to show him a roadway to the coming ville. The gingerbread man, not suspecting anything, accepted the fox's offer. The fox led the gingerbread man to an isolated area, far from the ville. He also revealed his true intentions, and he told the gingerbread man that he was going to eat him. The gingerbread man was surprised and spooked, but he knew that he'd to suppose snappily to escape. Rather than getting angry or trying to fight the fox, the gingerbread man used his kindness and wit to outwit him. He told the fox that he'd a special gift for him, a gingerbread house that he'd ignited with magic. The fox, being greedy, was intrigued and asked to see the gingerbread house. The gingerbread man led the fox to a gingerbread house that he'd painted before with the magic paintbrush, and it came to life. As the fox was inside the gingerbread house, the gingerbread man snappily ran down. The fox, realizing he'd been tricked, got angry and chased after the gingerbread man but could not catch him. The gingerbread man was suitable to escape the fox, thanks to his kindness and wit. He learned that occasionally, indeed when faced with peril, it's better to respond with kindness and intelligence, rather than wrathfulness or violence. It was a precious assignment, and it helped him on his trip to spread kindness and make a positive impact on the world. As the gingerbread man continued on his trip, he came across a little girl sitting by the side of the road. She was crying, and she looked sad and alone. The gingerbread man approached her and asked her what was wrong. The little girl told him that she had lost her way and she was looking for her family. The gingerbread man felt a deep empathy for the little girl, and he knew that he'd to help her. He offered to be her friend and to help her find her way home. The little girl looked up at the gingerbread man with a stopgap in her eyes, and she accepted his offer. The gingerbread man and the little girl set off on their trip together. They walked and talked, and the gingerbread man heeded the little girl's stories and participated in his own with her. The little girl told him about her family, her musketeers, and her favorite effects. The gingerbread man heeded attentively and responded with kindness and understanding. As they walked, the gingerbread man entertained the little girl with his silly jokes and his sportful capers. He made her laugh and smile, and she forgot about her sadness and her worries. The little girl was thankful to the gingerbread man for being her friend and for making her smile. The gingerbread man and the little girl ultimately set up her family and she was reunited with them. The little girl hugged the gingerbread man and thanked him for being her friend, and for helping her find her way home. The gingerbread man hugged her back and told her that she'd always be his friend and that he'd always be there for her. The gingerbread man's hassle with the little girl was a memorial that small acts of kindness can make a big difference in someone's life. It also showed that fellowship can come in unanticipated forms and that it can bring joy and happiness to those who need it the most. As the gingerbread man's trip came to an end, he came across a group of children playing in a domain. They were laughing and having fun, and the gingerbread man was drawn to their joy and energy. He approached them and asked if he could join in their fun and games. The children ate the gingerbread man with open arms, and they were agitated to have him join their group. They invited him to play label, hide and seek, and other games. The gingerbread man was thrilled to be suitable to play with the children, and he threw himself into the games with enthusiasm. As they played, the gingerbread man took the occasion to educate the children about the significance of kindness. He participated with them on his trip and the assignments he'd learned along the way. He told them about the people he'd met and the kindness he'd witnessed, and he encouraged them to be kind to others, just like he'd been. The children heeded attentively, and they were inspired by the gingerbread man's words. They saw how kindness had made a positive impact on the world, and they wanted to do the same. They thanked the gingerbread man for his training and for the fun time they had together. The gingerbread man felt a sense of fulfillment and pleasure as his trip came to an end. He knew that he'd fulfilled his charge to spread kindness and make a positive impact on the world. He was glad to have made a difference in the lives of the people he'd met, and he was happy to have left a continuing impact on the children he'd met in the domain. The gingerbread man's trip was a memorial that kindness is a commodity that can be tutored and learned, and that it has the power to make a positive impact on the world, indeed in small ways. It also showed that the topmost manons in life are simple effects, like playing with children and spreading kindness. The gingerbread man's adventure came to an end as he melted in the sun, but his heritage lived on. The people he met on his trip flashed back to his kindness and the impact it had on their lives. They were inspired by his trip and they strived to be kinder in their own lives, following in his steps. The old woman who had brought him to life was proud of the gingerbread man's trip, and she participated in his story with everyone who came to visit her. She told them about his kindness, his wisdom, and his courage, and she passed on his heritage to the coming generation. The children who had played with him in the domain told their parents and musketeers about the gingerbread man and his training. They participated in how important fun they had with him and how he'd tutored them about kindness. They spread his heritage by being kind to others, and by participating in his story with others. The townies who had served from his kindness also spread his heritage. They told their musketeers and family about the gingerbread man and how he'd helped them. They participated in how his kindness had changed their lives, and they inspired others to be kind too. As time passed, the gingerbread man's story was passed on from generation to generation, and it came to a cherished tale in the ville. It was a memorial of the power of kindness and its capability to change lives. It tutored people that indeed the lowest act of kindness can make a big difference in the world, and that it's worth it to spread kindness, no matter how small or insignificant it may feel. The gingerbread man's adventure may have come to an end, but his heritage will live on ever, as a memorial of the power of kindness, and its capability to change lives.